I'm in. I don't know if you're logged in, but
To Steam.
yeah.
So I don't know if I'll be joining you guys because I might have to leave early because I still need to help my parents with stuff. And I don't know when we're doing that, so that might be during the stream.
Okay. We're just kind of chilling for now.
Yeah. What was the game you wanted, like we were talking about, that you wanted to check if you had?
Oh, yeah, you said it was the new game that was available on Epic, and you said it was Wind something?
Oh yeah, Windbound.
Let's see. Do I own... I guess I could... Instead of scrolling, I guess I could have just typed. I was thinking of a different game called Windward.
Windward.
Yeah, so I have Windward. I do not have Windbound.
Ah, interesting. It looks neat.
Let me this is what I got. I got this one. Looks like that.
Ah. That is also a looking sailing game, you know? What is it with the wind?
So since we're not going to do a multiplayer match, we'll just get single player ready. I got something special. Oh, hello, Adrian.
Adrian.
Hello.
When Saba eventually gets here, I have something relatively special planned for today, because we're gonna play as the secret character.
Oh.
Yes. Are you aware of this, Grant?
No.
Yeah.
Who's
There's
secret?
actually a secret character that you can't select in the character select. You have to transform into them over the course of the game.
What?
Yeah, it's real cool. If Saba gets here at any point,
One day
I
we'll
will
see
show
it.
you, and it will be really awesome.
The secret character is the only character with like high res textures in the game, and it's you play as Zach's credit card.
You play Zach's credit card.
Finally, I've been waiting so long.
Anyway,
That was my
hello.
number one vote for Smash.
Zach's credit card.
Yeah.
Zach, I finished Disco Elysium.
No, you didn't. Fuck you. The game is like
I did.
90 hours long.
Well, I finished a run of it.
Oh,
I didn't-
okay. Okay, that's yeah. Okay, all right.
You
That makes a lot more
completed
sense.
100%.
It took me 15 hours to do one run of it.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Were you scraping up along the side of the side quests and stuff, or were you just going at your own pace?
I was going at my own pace. I wasn't like rushing for every side quest, and I wasn't rushing through the game. I did what I thought I wanted to.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
I do want you to talk about it for a second, but I did want to point out that I know you're familiar with him because I mentioned him before, and you're like, oh, I know him. But Wooly did a playthrough, which is the playthrough that I watched, where I'm familiar with the game. You finishing a run of the game in like 15-ish hours really just goes to show how fucking slow Wooly is whenever he plays anything, because it straight up took them, I think, 15 3-hour episodes to finish the fucking game, and that's with missing a bunch of content. So it's just funny.
Yeah. Yeah, Disco Elysium, super good. I decided, Grant, how much you know about the game actually?
Like, very little. I've seen, like, a bit of gameplay.
Okay, so you play as a cop with amnesia, basically.
Because he got fucking crunk, dude.
Yeah,
Dude, hell yeah.
he drank so much alcohol that he completely erased his memory, and then you pick up when he wakes up the day after in the hangover.
That's sick.
So I decided, because I'm a boring person, you know what? I think that this guy is going to wake up as a reformed man and try to be a decent person now.
That's actually like really common for first playthrough.
Right, because I'm a boring person. But so I played as a boring moralist hustler.
What was your special stat?
My special stat was physical instrument.
Oh, as a hustler?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
I did a fancy spin kick on a big racist guy.
Yeah, I was telling Lawrence
Nice.
about that the other day. I love that fucking big ass spin kick.
And there was a big shootout, and I got the second best possible result, which is very close to the best possible result. The difference being, instead of dodging a bullet, I got shot in the armor.
That's not that
Well.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was fine. Everyone that I could have saved lived. There was the part where you're interrogating Clasier. And I thought it was really, really funny when I woke up Drama, and then like 4 of my skills, I was like, wait a second, she's lying, and the drama was like, welcome to the Wake Up Crew gang. When the skills interact and talk with or about each other. Those are my favorite parts of them interacting, when they mention each other.
Just in case Grant's not super familiar, that is by far the best selling point of the entire game. I think it's the thing that really makes Disco Elysium, besides the quality of the writing, I think the thing that makes Disco Elysium really unique and stand out a lot is that your 24 stats that you have, I think it's 6 for 4 different categories, I believe, like 6 each for 4 different categories. Each one is essentially a different character. They all have like their own personalities, their own quirks, their own like desires and things that they want you to do and stuff like that. And I think it's really cool.
Yes.
What's the stat for being able to tell? It's the one that it's like the party stat.
Electrochemistry?
Yeah, electrochemistry. The one that like early on, if you take electrochemistry early on, you'll wake up like in your hotel room with like, you know, like a couple beer bottles or whatever around, and your electrochemistry is like, dude, I think that's alcohol on the floor. You should lap it up.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, the part of, so like all your stats are different, all your skills, different personalities or characters in your head, basically. And at the same time as you can choose to level in and up, if you level them up, you both become more effective using the world, but also they start to dominate and suggest more things for you to do in the world. So if you have physical chemistry if you have physical instrument really high like I do, which is the skill that lets you beat people up and be strong, then you start in your head constantly physical instruments being like, hey, you should bully this dork. This guy's a fucking dweeb. That guy's a loser because he's scrawny, and you should make fun of him because he's fat. And he's like,
virgin.
And the entire time I was trying to be the sorry, sad guy, and I was like, I have really high physical instrument, which is constantly telling me to be a jackass and a bully.
I'm not super familiar with all of the extreme versions of the personalities, but a couple of the ones that I did look up independently were interfacing. The one that allows you to like use like fiddle around with things. Yeah, machines and other interface type stuff. If you have interfacing up really high, your character has a compulsion to fiddle with everything, including like people's facial features. like your character will become compelled to just like tug at people's like noses and ears and stuff, and obviously that's really awkward and leads to a lot of really unique situations, but it also leads to your character constantly finding new shit that otherwise you wouldn't.
Nice.
Like, I mean, no spoilers because I don't know if Grant ever really gave a shit, but you remember, you know who committed the murder, right, Adrian?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
You actually get to find evidence of that super early if you have really high interfacing, because your guy is like just fucking around with like walls and stuff, just like constantly touching everything, and he finds evidence of who that person is like super early on. And if you know what you're doing, you can like skip a bunch of stuff, which I think is really cool. And then the other one that's really high is composure, because if you get a really high composure stat, you basically turn into Kim, which I think is fucking hilarious.
I mean, I don't know if you are aware, but the picture for composure is a side view of Kim.
Is it? I didn't know that because
Yeah, it's based on this model.
Because what I was familiar with was that I looked up somebody doing a like a highlight of their playthrough with high composure, and it's just like constantly like no emotional reaction, just taking stuff as is, and like being able to digest it without like much event. And then there was an article, or not really an article, like an interview when the definitive edition came out that somebody in the comments linked to. So I was reading that, and somebody asked like, "Hey, if you had to guess what Kim's stats were, what would they be?" And the guy was like, "Oh, Kim absolutely had like 9 composure." And I just think that's great, because that's the only way that Kim makes any sense as a character. Because how could you possibly continue an investigation with a police officer who stuck a gun in his own mouth while crying because a bunch of like dock workers were making fun of him?
I was gonna say, there's that. He has really high composure, and there's also if you talk with him, you can try to like, you know, suck up or make friends with him, and you're like, "Hey Kim, tell me a secret," and then your authority in your head is like, "Yes, control him, dominate," and then he says no, and then your authority, like, it's a legendary challenge. Your authority's like, "Okay, this guy is authority off the charts, you don't want to mess with him."
That's so good.
This is one eyebrow. Your authority is like, "This guy's got authority off the charts. You should. He's making you his thrall. You need to listen to him."
That's what I'm saying. It's so good. The other one that I'm familiar with, not in terms of it being really high, but just because I really like the idea of this stat. But it's the one where it's essentially the camaraderie stat with your fellow police officer.
Esprit de corps.
Esprit de corps. It's such a weird stat because it's so specific. Like, no other character in the world who's not a cop would have that stat, or at least the stat would have a different name. But like,
well, I mean, esprit de corps doesn't refer to cops specifically; it refers to a group in general that you are part of.
I guess that's true.
So if anyone that's part of a group that they identify with, I guess.
Group that you identify with as well. I guess that makes sense. But I just really like the idea of that stat in general, because it's like, if your camaraderie is really low, everybody just like points and laughs at you and just like puts dog poop in your chair. And it's like, why would you do this? And it's like, because you suck and we hate you.
I mean, given what you find out your character has done to your fellow policeman before.
What? Nah, it's fine. What's another one? I think Shivers is a really cool idea.
Shivers is pretty cool, yeah.
Shivers is another like really weird one, because it's essentially just magic.
Kind of, yeah.
Because it's like there's no real explicit like magic in the game other than like Shivers, and there's
a thing at the very end that's kind of supernatural a little bit.
Are you talking about the creature?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's weird. That's weird. That's a cryptid, right? So is it magical? Is it not? No. But I'm talking about the stat. It's the David Lynch stat. The
David Lynch.
Oh yeah, Shivers. You're right.
No, not Shivers. It's a different one. Inland Empire.
Oh,
because that's named after another movie that David Lynch did. Inland Empire is another one that could essentially be magic, because so Grant, Inland Empire is a mental stat that you can have where your Inland Empire will trigger, and it will act as if it is talking to the inanimate objects around you.
What the heck?
Yes, it's your imagination.
It's your imagination, but it's accurate, is the thing. Like, if your Inland Empire is high enough, you can start investigating and not interrogating. What's it called when you just talk to like a witness? Interviewing. You could just start interviewing like inanimate objects that were in a crime scene, and they'll give you details that you wouldn't be able to have otherwise.
Also corpses.
Also corpses.
Oh.
And so it, like, that's what I mean when I say like it's essentially Saba says, hello, I will join in a bit once I get Wi-Fi. In that case, does that mean we're not doing Parsec?
I mean, I will say that Inland Empire, it's not perfect. Like, it's still a little janky and it's still a little obfuscated and mysterious, but it's like, it's not like you're just talking to them. You're putting it puts a weird, like, kind of mystic spin on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because otherwise it wouldn't. Yeah. Otherwise it would be too much. Although I do like how with really high Inland Empire, not only is it triggering like every second of every encounter because everything in the room is trying to talk to you, but it starts evolving from inanimate objects to like colors and sounds will start talking to you, and then when it gets high enough you'll be able to just have conversations with the previous conversation that you had.
Whoa.
Like the concept of the dialogue will start talking to you as if it was its own entity, and it's really fucking awesome. Saba says, I think I should be able to still do Parsec. All right, well, either way, we'll just wait because I'm enjoying talking about Disco Elysium.
I will say that the game has perhaps changed me in the way that when you see an action movie, you want to like, well, I want to do some cool action stuff or whatever. Ever since I played Disco Elysium, I feel like I am realizing that I'm passing and failing checks IRL now.
Like all the time. Because that's one of the things that's really cool about the game, Grant, is that there's like a combinatorial explosion that they inherently designed into the game, where normally in a video game, more often than not, when you fail a check, you just don't get to do whatever it is that you failed, right? But in Disco Elysium, a failure is progress most of the time. Where it's like, if failure doesn't lead to progress, that's because you can try it again later. But if you try to do something and fail, that's just more stuff to do. And so the game doesn't tell you to stop. The game is just like, you fucked up, keep going.
It's not necessarily progress so much as it doesn't stop, it keeps going. There's a really good example in the very early game. There's a part where you wake up, you're trapped in a hotel or an inn room. You go downstairs hungover, and the barkeep is like, hey, so your tab is like $400, and there's a check to pass based on your savoir-faire, which is your skill of like doing things smoothly, being a smooth operator, being like skillful and like, you know, casual about stuff. And if you fail that check, trying to walk away like nothing's, like you don't owe anything, instead your character decides the best course of action, instead of walking away casually, you sprint off to the side of the room, jump backwards, flip him double birds, and crash into a paraplegic in a wheelchair.
That's amazing. And
then you have to deal with the subsequent scene.
Yes.
Because you have not solved anything. You have only made the situation worse.
I was gonna say, you don't, like, your debt doesn't... Funny thing enough is that does actually reduce your debt, because the guy is like, wow, you're horrible, the drinks are on the house, still pay for the room. Because if you go without paying, the debt stays the same. So weirdly, that helps, although, of course, you did crash into a paraplegic in a wheelchair.
A fucking paraplegic cryptozoologist, if I recall correctly.
Well, the wife of the cryptozoologist.
Right, sorry. But
you can't win them all.
I like the skill checks that you do right before that, where I say right before that, but with the pretty lady who's like hanging over the railing right outside of your room. Yeah. where you're still all fucked in the head, so you have some like stat debuffs at the time, and you're like talking to her. And long story short, it gets to the point where your stats start encouraging you to like try to be romantic. Because she's a pretty lady, you know? Why wouldn't you want to be romantic, huh? And the playthrough that I was watching, they were like, dude, we're going to do every single check no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's high chance, low chance. No matter what, we're going to do it. And if we die, we just reload checkpoint. So despite the fact that they only had, I believe, a 3% chance of success, like the literal lowest percent you could possibly get, they tried it, which resulted in their character going, I want to have fuck with you. and she starts like cracking up a little bit. She's like, I'm sorry, say that again? No, say it again. I heard you, but I want you to say it again. And she forces you to go, I want to have fuck with you.
I was gonna say the first time your character's like, I want to have sex, and it's like, no, what you actually said.
It's so good, man.
Oh man.
There's other
And then there's the thing is that she says it's almost like she's like, it's gonna suck when you have to interview me later, and then it does suck when you have to interview her later. You take a shitload of morale damage. You're like, oh god, I said that.
Flashbacks.
It's like a legendary check where it's like you take a minus like 10 penalty on it because you're like, oh god, I said that.
I can't believe I said that. I like the moment because it's an optional moment after you find the patrol car that jumped like the canal and it's now like in the bog or whatever. You can like sit down at the swing set that's right next to there, and you could just like chill for a minute. And it like I think by default you recover one morale like point of morale, which is like your mental health, I guess. Essentially your sanity, I guess. But anyway, you automatically recover one of that, and then you have the option of essentially you can recover another point if you successfully whistle a tune. But in the playthrough that I watched, they fucked up, and so the character just starts going and like spitting all over himself, and like he can't whistle, and it's like really pathetic and embarrassing. And then Kim, who is the best character in the game, chuckles ever so gently and then just starts whistling one of the most beautiful tunes I have ever heard, and you recover the morale point anyway. And it's like, oh, it's so good.
Speaking of Kim, what a fucking character that guy is.
Kim is so good. Remember when he had to go undercover in a pinball tournament?
Kim is your partner in the game, and he is, I feel like, 90% of the reason why people try to play a reformed person, because you don't want to disappoint him. He's so good.
Oh no.
It's not even like you know, because people talk about like the idea of like not wanting to disappoint your parents or whatever, but like in theory, when you disappoint your parents, they convey that to you in some way, whereas you just inherently know that Kim is upset with you, you know?
Oh man.
And it's just like oh I want to be a better person.
I'm sorry, Kim.
There are very subtle signs where at one point, I think it's your empathy tells you that he calls you lieutenant when he's happy with you and officer when he's mad at you.
Yeah.
Which is very, very subtle, but it's a good thing, because like lieutenant's like theoretically like your rank. He doesn't actually know your rank until later on in the game, but
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant's your rank, and then officer is like if he like not even acknowledging your rank, just like fucking officer, whatever.
Damn. Brutal.
We are now finally ready to begin. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're essentially just going to continue doing what we were just doing, just like shooting the breeze. But the only thing I wanted to say was that ahead of this, Saba, we're still going to be playing like normal. But our objective for the next however many minutes we have until Lawrence shows up is we're actually going to play as the secret character.
Oh, okay. What? I'm not informed about.
I know you're
how
not.
that'll work, but
so pay attention.
Hopefully my Wi-Fi is okay. I'm working.
There's speaking of transforming into a character, there's a game that I played a while ago called Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous, where the idea is you can choose to be like an angel or a devil or like a being of like creativity, music, and
warrior devil.
You start as like some fantasy guy, but then you can pick like a mystic path to evolve on and go through. So the mystic path's like holy, devil, like evil, or demon or whatever. But one of the paths is just destroy your physical self, imbue your sentience into a bunch of worms, and the worms become your new physical self. You become the worm that walks. Which, I don't know, man. That's kind of fucking weird. That's a weird thing to have alongside being an angel.
I think that's the ultimate objective of all college students.
The thing is that it's an extremely hard path to take because you have to do so much specific, weird, esoteric shit to become a worm that walks.
Shift.
Well,
We gotta
sometimes that's all
get
you
the
need,
fuck
man.
out of here. We're taking a lot of damage.
That just reminded me of that from the transforming into a secret character.
I'm excited for
Okay,
the secret
hopefully I
character.
won't lag too hard.
I can
different
just play.
location.
That's fine. We don't have to parsec. But why are you on Wi-Fi? Where are you?
I'm currently at my friend's house, but she's
Why are
we're
you
chill, so she's
streaming?
like, you could just stream because she's like doing other stuff right now.
I'm glad I
Are
don't
you
have
sure?
I'm glad I don't have a face cam.
At first, I thought you were gonna say, "I'm glad I don't have friends," but you know.
I'm glad I don't have friends. Anyways, guys, welcome to stream.
Welcome to stream,
Welcome to stream.
compatriots. I'm trying to go
Compatriots.
down, woman.
Associate.
No.
Circling back to the feeling like I'm passing and failing checks IRL all the time. If I had to choose a stat to improve, at my job where I deal with special ed middle schoolers, my authority is challenged so fucking often.
Oh, we gotta run. It's
I
C.
do not doubt that.
Her computer just wait. What? Her computer died, but we're still moving.
Well,
All right, well, I'm gonna boot
there
Sava.
she
You know what,
goes.
Lawrence, I'll boot you too, Grant. I'm just gonna
there she
stream to
goes
Discord.
again.
There you go. Now you can just watch without having to be connected. I'll just do it and I'll show
No.
you the cool character.
Now I can continue my game of balloons.
Why are you playing balloons?
I want to be happy in life.
And so you play balloons?
Oh, balloons.
You play
I'm doing the magic one. You play balloons?
I don't know what to say to you, Saba. I don't have any words for the weird shit show that has occurred, so I guess it's fine. If you get
That's
back, that's
indeed.
totally. If you get back, that's totally fine. If you don't, that's also fine. We're just gonna be doing
Peace.
Revengeance later anyway, so.
Fast.
Captain Fastba.
So,
I'm really upset
You know,
that
I
we
started-
didn't record anything, Grant.
I am too. We had a good time. It was really fun.
But yes, you were saying.
Teardown's a cool game. No, I was literally about to say like so, and then I forgot. So.
Okay, I'm back.
Fuck you, Saba.
Yeah, my computer just occasionally does this. When even though it has charge, it'll just shut down, and then when I plug it back in and turn it on, it's like 0%, and I'm like, great, thank you so much.
Uh-oh.
Perfect
Well, I'm
timing.
just gonna play now. It was weird. You left.
I know, and I saw
or
us still
not.
walk.
Like, yeah, we
Did
were
you
still
take
we were
over?
still walking, and I was yelling at you because like we weren't fast enough to get away from a lot of the enemies that were chasing us, but like you weren't there, so I was like, wait, so how are we moving? I guess
have no
I guess
clue.
the last thing that happened right before your computer shut down was that your parsec client sent the W key.
Yeah, and then just
Quickly.
kept on going. Well, we'll see. It shouldn't be even too long before Lawrence gets here, so.
I know.
There go. So you want to explain the secret character to me?
No.
You want to
Yeah, I
explain
thought
yourself?
you.
Zach?
I thought
Why
you
the
okay,
fuck would I
fine.
explain a secret character? I could just show you.
I was
the,
asking about
I could just show
requirements.
you the secret character. Just take
I
some
mean,
time.
sure.
Just calm down.
I know, but I want to know.
Just stay focused, and we'll get there one day. All right.
Okay,
Where
one
the
day.
fuck
What
is
are the
the
requirements
teleporter?
for it? I'm trying to pry in like different directions now. What is the requirements to get the secret character?
So the secret character is there are 4 blue items. So like the items that usually have like a good side and a downside, right? There are 4
Okay.
blue items that if you get all 4 of them, each one replaces one of your 4 abilities. And so when you have all 4, you get a new passive because now you're a new character.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, you like physically
doesn't
transform into this character, and it's really cool.
Okay, because that feels more like understandable via like if you were a robotic character though versus like this.
It'll make more sense once you see the character.
Dude, is it gonna be like the corruption from Hob? It's just gonna take us
It's
over
just like a
bit by
goo,
bit?
just big goo pile.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
corruption from Terraria.
I like what's the other one? The Blight.
The Blight.
The Blight?
I always thought that was weird in Terraria, the distinction between the like fleshy corruption and the Blight, because one of them is de facto better, and I find that very strange. Because one of them literally, like, despite the fact that they're both supposed to be relatively equivalent, one of them just has better tools for when you craft.
When you craft?
Craft?
Yeah, but the other one's purple.
But the other one is
cool.
purple. I guess the boss is
shit.
easier.
The government's corrupt.
Okay, I have an image for you, Grant.
Oh, you have an image for me?
Oh, that was her at
shit.
midnight or whatever.
Oh shit.
It was 1 a.m. Where were you guys, huh? I was there
Why were you
you?
awake at 1 a.m.?
because we planned for a meeting, right? That's when.
No,
Grant told
you
me there
did
was a meeting.
literally plan for a meeting. It's true.
Nah.
I said I was going to be there, Grant.
Yeah.
Here's the document on your table.
But how do I know that you didn't change the time on your computer?
You could have just changed the system time. It's true.
Yeah.
And so
I
then
don't know,
let me
Saga.
send you this image of because I posted this thing on my thing as well
Your thing?
on Discord.
Your thing on your
my
thing?
own my thing on my thing. So
She's a writer. Everybody.
it was February 4th, 2022. So that is extra confirmation that I was there.
But you could just change your
Meeting
system
time.
time.
But that
Then it
is
would just
Discord
reflect
I could
that
do.
in
I could do that
Discord.
right now on stream.
Discord time. I did it. I know you guys are trying to discredit me, but I did it. I'm an honest person.
Why is your microphone
I-
pink?
Yeah, wait a minute. What the heck?
That just
That's
means it's
cool.
on.
No, but
Like,
mine doesn't
No,
do
it was
that.
fine. Yeah, it was fine.
Oh, see, this is
Does it know that you're
I'm
a
an
girl?
no. There's just
Gender computer? Hello?
Oh.
Did you buy a computer from the girl store, Saba?
Yeah. Why is it
Did
pink?
I? Because you can customize
Why are you dodging
it,
the question?
Zach.
Just answer the question.
That is the question.
What is the question?
What are you, a politician? I ask you a question.
Am I
You
what
can't ask
you
me a
are?
question in
Listen, Zach,
response.
both sides
Huh?
make great points.
See, I'm saying like, you know, whatever you are, isn't that what I am as well, Zach?
Who do you think you are? I am,
I don't-
Zach.
I don't-
Exactly.
I'm pretty confident that I'm not a girl.
But are you sure about that?
I don't know, man. I do have pretty big tits.
Anywho, you guys can customize it if you haven't figured that out.
How?
Man.
How? Just go into like personalized. It has like
Can
secondary.
you say that
like,
again,
theme
but
color.
without the lag?
Speaking of having big tits, I saw this one TikTok where it was like the joke.
What a transition.
It was the joke of like. It was a joke of like some. It was only like, oh, I hear if you can't touch your elbows together, then you're flat. But it was this like huge,
Oh.
wide, jacked dude who legitimately couldn't do it because
Yeah.
his giant pecs were in. It was like. And then it cut to some girl who was like scrawny, and it's like, okay, and then she smashed her elbows together, and she's like, ah!
Oh yeah.
Just like
I've
fucking
seen
weighing
that.
her
That was a
funny bones
nightmare.
against each other.
Exactly. And it was like, this is gender equality. This is progressive.
This is progressive.
And
this is it.
And it's like the fastest thing too, so you know that it was like high speed contact per elbow. It was painful.
I told you guys about the story of me tricking all my cousins into running into each other head first during Christmas, right?
Multiple times.
Yes.
You take sadistic pleasure every
I
time.
love
you
that
wring
story
your
so
little
much.
fingers and-
There's actually a very similar story where it was another thing. It was in high school, and obviously, like, one of the things that happens in high school is that girls start developing. And so the thing was that there was like this thing that you could do where if you started walking at a wall and your tits touched before your nose, that meant you were busty, and that was like desirable. And so, you know, girls would do that sometimes, and it was just like a funny haha thing. But I remember I was like off to the side at one point, and I was like, no, you have to do it quickly. I tricked like 6 different girls into walking into the wall in like full force, and I was like,
Zach, what's wrong with you?
it was so. Because
Let's
it
get
was
him a sadism card, guys, because I think some people need to know before they start talking to him.
Man.
They're
was
at risk
just-
of walking into walls.
I don't understand. And it's like, yeah, obviously I'm a bad person for tricking them into doing it, but also they're pretty dumb because, like, what did you think was gonna happen?
You know, Zach, maybe I'm thinking that game you had us do in game night where we all tied knives to our heads and ran at each other, maybe that wasn't a real game.
No, what are you
know,
talking about? That was
honestly-
like a classic game from my
Man,
middle school.
I don't know. You still have like the head stitches, right, from when Zach had us all play that game. And
Oh,
he
absolutely.
explained it, but he kept saying it's better if I don't participate because I'll just beat you on. And we're like, okay, that
I have
sounds
a lot,
fine,
I have
right?
a lot of
I was trying to
practice from when I
practice
was
at
younger.
I have a lot of practice throwing knives at people, you know? It's fine. I'll win. So
If
I'll
you
let
can
guys
throw the
go.
knife after it's been taped on your head, then I set up the game wrong, and that's my fault.
It is your fault.
Okay, now I'm just thinking about just how funny it was. I was just off to the side, just like sitting underneath like a staircase. Like
Oh
a
my
fucking
God.
gremlin. They fucking all just went boom off their forehead. And then they all gave me the dirtiest look, and I was just laughing.
Jesus.
I'm just
I
trying to
will
think
say-
of what that game would be called if you tied a knife to your forehead and did that. Would that like I'm trying to think of like a unicorn themed game name that Zach would use.
Oh.
I will say,
I mean, given my normal naming convention
Uh-huh.
for things, I would probably just call it head knife.
I was thinking of unicorn jousting.
Unicorn jousting, sure. Oh,
What were you saying, Saba?
I just, all I, Mr. Zach's okay, first of all, okay.
He's dying.
I'll let him die. All I was
okay.
saying is I'm wondering if like the girls that ended up doing that and like, I don't know, smashing their faces into the wall, and then Zach saying like, well, what did you expect? I can't imagine what the girls' faces would be, but I'm sure it would be hilarious.
well, because I didn't say anything afterwards. I was just laughing because it was so obvious.
I'm
that
sure
would
if you
happen.
said anything afterwards, they'd kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Probably. To be quite frank, that's exactly what the type of person at that school would have done. But I definitely would have deserved it. Because obviously, once again, I will reiterate, definitely should not have encouraged them to do that. But hey,
No.
their lack of critical thought is not my
kids.
fault.
Their lack of critical thought is not
And
my
Zach's sadistic habits are his own fault. It's okay. It meshed together. Partial fault for everyone.
Critical
There you
thought
go.
would be a really critical thought would be like a really great TikTok name for just having like a bunch of really pretty women on and just have them do like a dance. You just call it critical thought, THOT.
critical thought.
No. What you have to do is you have to have, for critical thought THOT, you have to have a bunch of really, really hot girls who have like a really dom kink and just look down at the camera at the floor and they're like, you're such an asshole, and start like tearing into you.
Why is that critical?
Critical
Critical
thought.
because they're like criticizing you. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for all the people who have like a sub kink.
There you go.
I feel like our demographic is shrinking by the word.
By the word.
Like we had any to begin with.
Oh God, give me a second. I need to wipe my eyes. I'm laughing too hard.
He's
Dude,
crying.
I can't believe I forgot because obviously the Christmas story is like one of my favorite ones to tell, and I can't fucking believe I forgot about the time I got a bunch of girls in high school just fucking concuss themselves.
Honey, I concussed the kids.
Honey, I concussed the kids.
Scientists and physicists studying the smallest possible units of space and time and physical being have turned to OboStream, researching our demographics.
Hey, I'll have you know that one of our VODs recently got 50 views, and I don't know why.
We can't figure it out.
Is that the Pokemon one?
No.
Because I was just going to say that's the Redditors.
That's the Redditors. No, the VOD, not the view. Not the YouTube.
Oh, on the Twitch. Okay.
Yeah. The what is a masterpiece has 50 views, and I'm like, why? That wasn't even that good.
He's like, are you guys stupid?
Like, did I really fucking bamboozle you with the title? Did you really think we were gonna have a salient conversation about video game masterpieces?
Good. It was good for like a good hour.
Oh yeah?
Then I joined.
Oh yeah?
Grant, you showed up 2 hours late.
Okay. So it had already stagnated by then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it had been stagnant for an hour.
And then Grant joined.
And then Grant
I joined.
Alright.
I mean, who doesn't love, what is it? Vampire the Slayer?
Vampire Survivors.
Survivor.
Dude, that game was
fun
fucking
to
sick.
watch.
I finished it the other day. And by the other day, I mean earlier today.
That
Okay.
is another
I unlocked everything, including the final character, which required me to get 5,000 gold in a single run. It was very difficult.
Tyson?
So was it fun? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I hated it towards the end, but I had a good time overall. Okay. So
Okay.
so that's 1. I think that's a Q.
So all
2.
of these
That's
got,
3.
is
That's
it
4.
all of
I think
these?
that's the character. I think we got it. So as long as I don't pick the wrong one by accident, so I need this one.
Don't fuck it up.
I need
Replace
leg.
I
got the leg.
Leg
I need
of the forbidden
like a
one.
ring. It's like a gross ring. This one. There you go. And then I need an eyeball. It's like an eyeball. This one. Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
So
Wow,
this
Dude,
is
you look cool as
this is
hell.
the Heretic.
Oh, hello.
This is one of the
Chicken legs.
coolest
leg.
characters in my opinion, because all of their abilities are
Naruto one.
delayed. So like these little projectiles, they home and they'll stick into opponents like a homing dart, and then they'll explode after a second or two. But yeah, this is the Heretic, and they just look like a fucking crazy person.
I love it.
Crazy Birdman with chain or saws for arms.
That's pretty
Okay.
cool.
I really
cool.
like the
Pretty
flavor
epic.
text because you get the you get a log, like a data log as soon as you unlock the Heretic for the first time. And the data log is really cool because it's like a security detail. It's like the transcript from a guy taking like a security audio recording, where he's just talking about how he's guarding like this religious artifact or whatever on this like spaceship, and then suddenly out of fucking nowhere, the Heretic, because the Heretic is like despite looking very structurally sound, has like no bones or whatever. So the Heretic can fit through, you know how like a cat can fit through any hole as long as the hole is not smaller than their skull?
I think you're thinking of a rat.
Cats can kind of do the same thing.
Okay.
Or how about okay, less specifically an octopus, because it's actually very similar
Sure.
to an octopus, because the Heretic can fit through any space that her beak can fit through.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's really fucked up because
Wait,
she just like
Zach,
she just crams
her?
through a wall.
Oh, MILF.
What the fuck?
No. Yes.
You said her. MILF.
It's true. The Heretic is a girl. Is a woman,
Is
or
a
at least a
MILF.
female, I guess.
That's a whole lot of woman.
A whole lot of woman. Thank you, Patrick Starr. I don't like the idea of Patrick saying that. Oh, that's uncomfy. Yeah, anyway. We got
Cool.
another like 15 minutes or
who's
so
that?
until Lauren shows up. So does someone want to bring up a banter topic? I saw that there were a few posted today.
SpongeBob, who's that? That's my boating instructor, Mrs. Puff. Oh, what a MILF, SpongeBob.
Holy fuck.
Oh, that's a whole woman.
Oh no.
It's like from that one episode where Mr. Krabs falls in love with Mrs. Puff. It's just like, I can't possibly do that. SpongeBob, look how thick she is.
No. Wait, well, you're losing health. Are you gonna die?
Oh, am I? Oh yeah, it looks like I'm gonna die.
Oh.
I believe I may have just forgotten how this character functions.
Do they just constantly lose health?
Yeah.
Oh.
I forgot that you need to get kills in order to recover health. Oopsie.
Okay.
Oh well, that's the
that was the
heretic.
secret character, everybody.
Have fun.
That
Hope you
was cool.
enjoyed.
Though, like decreasing health, unless you like kill something, that's like tough.
Yeah.
I hate that.
All right, I'm gonna do Monsoon.
Monsoon.
I'm gonna try a Monsoon difficulty run. Let's see how this goes.
Godspeed, son.
Godspeed.
So does no one have anything? No one has any
was
banter
gonna say,
topics?
I have a banter topic.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
It's a very small one. So, you guys remember like school clocks that are on like the top of the wall? You look at them, see what time they're getting out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a clock traditionally tick, 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 tick for second, minute, and hour.
Yeah.
More or less. I haven't really seen a face clock that has a second hand in a long time, but yeah.
Yep.
The
Are they normally like white? That's the stuff I remember. Like they're.
I'm
circular.
sure that this is largely irrelevant to Adrian's point, so let's let him continue.
well, I was gonna say, so all the classrooms at the school have a clock, so the students can look at it and pray that it goes faster. The room that the special ed students use for therapy has a clock too, but that one, instead of like the seconds ticking over each time a second ticks, it moves the second hand smoothly and slowly, which
I
actually
don't like that.
I
seen
actually
those.
like
I
that
don't
way
like 'em.
more.
it makes me more anxious than when it ticks over. Looking at it, it makes me anxious, which is why I thought it was ironic that that's in the therapist's room.
I have
No, I don't like the
I
smoothness.
have a
It's gross.
direct aversion to like the ticking noise. Wow, I'm fucking dead, dude.
I actually really like clock ticking noises. I think it's very, very like relaxing.
Well, like you can't hear the clock ticking; you can just see it like tick over every second.
No, I know. I'm just being opposite of Zach.
What a
You know, I'm
surprise.
just trying to. I know, right? Though I actually do like the noise, but regardless, yes, Adrian.
I was
go
gonna
on.
say the visuality of it like smoothly moving over makes me uncomfortable and nervous compared to just seeing it reliably like step like a foot like a stride across across the face of the clock.
I've seen those and I do not like them. I agree.
Let me see, what type of clock is good?
I really
guys
like
digital clocks over
the.
analog?
I really like the. My grandfather used to have a wristwatch, you know, like a circular face clock on his wrist that had no ticks, like no like hash marks and no numbers on it. It was just completely blank.
Nice.
And I
That's kinda
remember,
cool,
and I
actually.
remember the first time I saw that, I want to say, excuse me, I want to say I was 16, and I remember actively thinking, "Wow, that's pretentious."
You know what clock I really like? The 11-foot tall sundial I keep in my room.
I like
Just
the
pokes through
11-foot
the
tall
ceiling.
sundial. That's pretty good.
Now does Zach say pretentious because in his mind he actually knows he can't actually, you know, read the time for it, so he's like, this
Well-
is for people that are.
secretly wanted it.
Well,
Yeah, even though
it
he
was a little,
secretly wanted to,
bit
yeah.
of column A and a little bit of column B. Because yes, if you just showed me like the hands of a clock on a circle, I would have to think for probably a good like, I don't know, like 2 minutes before I remember like, okay, that's what the time would be in theory. But
By then
on
it's
the
already
other,
changed.
hand, that's so impractical. Like, why not just put the numbers on it, man? It wasn't like it was an expensive watch or anything. It was just a watch.
Style points.
That's why I called it like a little pretentious. Just a little bit, not a lot.
You know what'd be funny? If they had like a circular like wall clock, and it showed like the hand and minutes and numbers, but it was completely digital and electric.
That'd be pretty cool.
Anyway, that was my clock topic.
Clock talk with Adrian.
Please join us next week for more clock talk.
Yeah.
We're done talking about my therapist's smooth clock, unlike my rough clock.
I hate.
I like the
Please
rough.
don't say smooth clock anymore.
You don't want to talk about my therapist's big smooth clock that everyone has to look at whenever they.
I couldn't imagine why I don't want to talk about that.
I can't. Frankly.
I don't know. I like talking about my therapist's clock.
Yeah.
I think you yourself are starting to lose it.
Stop
Adrian,
pitching
you're
your
just-
voice, please.
I don't know.
It's
I think all
well
the kids
known.
like looking at the clock whenever they're with her.
Now you're putting like extra stank on it. Please stop.
You don't want to talk about my therapist's clock.
All right, moving on. So my mom was watching. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was like a Project Runway. It was a Project Runway sort of thing, right? One of those like shows where they design like designer whatever outfits, and then they do like the whole runway bit.
Can I say real quick?
Yes.
For the longest time, I thought Project Runway was like a show about planes.
It would be much better if it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was that, and they were just doing the thing. Excuse me. They were doing the whole thing, and one of the contestants. Once again, I don't think it was Project Runway, but it was very adjacent to it. But anyway, one of the contestants was doing this whole thing where all of her runway models that she had to do designs for were black, just like she was. And the whole point was that all of the contestants on this particular episode were trying to make like cultural statements with their stuff. And it's like, okay, that's like pretty cool. That's a pretty neat thing to do. But one of the, not judges, I guess he was like the advisor, because he would like show up while they were making the outfits. He kept calling her and all of her runway models, he kept describing them as chocolate. Like talking about like their chocolatey skin and how it complements their chocolate complexion a lot and stuff like that. And I remember two things. I remembered one thing where I think it was just like a thing on Twitter where it was just somebody trying to make a joke or whatever, or maybe not. But it was something akin to like, man, can y'all think of something else other than just calling black ladies chocolate? Like we're not food. And so I thought that was funny for an instant there. And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, is there anything else like that for people of other skin colors? Like, what do you like, you know, chocolate is in theory supposed to be like a pretty, like, wow, I fucking died. I got obliterated. Yikes. Holy crap. Oh, well, I'll just do it.
I think, like, describing, like, a thing being, like, chocolate, like, tone, I think is fine. I think the word chocolatey, like, when you start talking like that,
it's a little weird once you start deviating from the inherent word, isn't it? But
yeah,
what about
a
chocolate clock?
Shut up!
Clocklet, anyway.
No. But
okay.
I mean, I guess like the overall point, like the overall reason why I bring this up, or why I bring up this topic in general, was just that I couldn't really think of anything that, like any like really stereotypical descriptors used to describe people of like other skin tones or whatever.
It's
I think
not
I've heard,
as
like,
common.
I mean, there's white snow. That's one.
I was gonna say olive.
Olive complex,
tone.
dude. I'm fucking dead.
Well, that's. I mean, that's really
hard
good,
mode.
though.
I will say, I fucking hate the term olive complexion because I've never seen someone with yellow, green, muddy-looking skin in real life.
Well, because olive because the thing is that I don't think olive complexion is supposed to represent like an actual olive. I think it's supposed to mean Mediterranean.
Right, but it's just frustrating because it's not literal and visual. Like,
Whereas chocolate is, which to be fair, yes, that makes a lot more sense.
But yeah, my favorite mocha, olive. I like these are all food
Mocha's
related.
a good one.
We're trying to stick.
Because I remember one of them because it was from one of the Ace Attorney spin-off games. They called one of the murder victims. They said that she had alabaster skin.
The fuck?
And I just, well, because alabaster is the type of stone that's known for being extremely white, so it makes sense, like in a literal context.
No, that's a descriptor that I've heard, I think, occasionally be used.
But it's
Just say
weird,
food.
isn't it? Like it's weird in the sense that I don't think you could reasonably, like, if you were on Tinder and you were talking to some white girl, I don't think you could be like, oh, I like your alabaster complexion.
Yeah, no, that's not common.
I will say, I didn't actually know alabaster was stone. I've never heard alabaster in any context other than describing someone's skin before. So,
The only
really?
reason I knew inherently that alabaster was a type of stone was because in New Hampshire they mine alabaster, or they have alabaster quarries.
Yeah, they mine it from the white people's skins.
They mine it from the white people's
Ivory
skin.
is
Yes.
used occasionally, right?
Sorry.
Ivory.
Ivory,
color?
ebony, sure.
Yeah.
Both of these. Because it's just like,
golden is an obvious one, right? But that's like.
do you really call someone? Do you really say that someone has like a? Well, I guess you could say golden
You say
complexion.
golden-
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
golden.
true.
I think usually that's used to refer to like people that sit in like tanning booths, though.
That's
Well, yeah,
true.
but then we're
Golden
talking about like
bronze,
complexions, right? So technically, like, I guess it's still like within the
Oh
umbrella
my
that we're talking about.
Dude. Speaking of race and color things, Grant. So I wanted to mention we talked about how Kim is like super cool and great, right? He's your partner.
Yeah.
His last name is Kitsuragi, which is a
Okay.
Japanese last name.
Kim
So
is okay. Yeah.
Kim is not Japanese. Well, he's not
not
nationally
Korean.
Japanese. He's born in like the equivalent of like Frenchland.
Gross.
French school. Nice.
But there's a part where you're trying to get him to. You can try to get him to dance with you with suggestion, your skill with suggestion, which is how you persuade people. And if you fail that check, you call him. You call him a yellow monkey fucker,
Oh my god.
Fuck.
and he
Wow.
gets so offended he leaves you for the day.
Yeah.
That is.
I'm surprised he doesn't leave you
Pretty
for the
drastic.
game.
It's one of those things where Zach was like, yeah, if you fail, sometimes something extreme happens. Yeah, you can just call him that if you fail your suggestion check.
Oh my god.
I
don't
just think
think
like the
I-
other the alternative is just, you want to dance or something?
I don't-
like
I don't-
something chill.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing that people usually call Asian people, but
By the way,
Yeah.
just to make sure that I'm picking up on the event that you're talking about, that's the repurposed church, right? That gets turned into a nightclub.
Yeah.
Ah, the literal Disco Elysium, because that's what they decided to call their nightclub, which
Yes,
is one
you
of the
can-
coolest fucking names ever.
You're trying to get him to dance because he's usually kind of like a stiff, upright person, and if you fail, oh god, I started watching a clip of it because I saw a clip on YouTube, and I had to pause the video because I could not stand to hear the disappointment in his voice anymore.
Oh my god.
I wasn't playing, I was watching, I couldn't handle it myself. He's so pissed at you, and he's so right. Like,
Yeah. Who the fuck says that?
Apparently someone who drinks so much they black out, forget everything, and then try to persuade their detective partner to dance.
I guess, man.
It's a little,
guess.
it's a little poetic when you think about it, because the
What?
No,
You
sorry.
explain yourself.
The him drinking the main character drinking so heavily that he like completely forgets his entire life. Like he gets so blackout drunk, he effectively severs ties to his entire history. Not to like anybody else, like, because everybody else still knows that he's a piece of shit. But at least to him, he can like reassess like the choices in his life without like all of the inherent guilt that comes along with it. But I don't know, there's something a little poetic about it when I think about it. It's like, that'd be kind of nice, maybe, especially if you're that fucked up of a person where, like, you know, stuff like that happens to you at all. It'd be kind of nice to have the ability to just be like, yeah, I just want to like reset.
Calling Kim a slur. Oh no.
Also, I was wrong. It's not suggestion, it's authority that tells you to do that.
Holy shit! Why?
Which is arguably worse.
Man, I fucking hate these wisps. Just die. Where's Lawrence? I want to get back to Jetstream Sam.
Lawrence.
I want to get back to Jetstream Sam.
Oh man, my Discord has frozen in the video of calling Kim a slur. I full screened it. Apparently that was a bad idea because now it's frozen.
Now they're after you.
They know.
No,
They know that you too No.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna close Discord and reopen it.
I was gonna say, if you look at the video, all the comments are like, this hurts to watch, ow. And then some of them are like, thank you, noble recorder, for doing what I could not.
It's so bad.
Did I see the teleporter at some point? Did I miss it?
I don't know. Were you looking at it with your eyes?
Oh yes, you're very funny.
Yeah. I can't believe that eyes became one of our running stream jokes.
You have to say eyes though in a specific kind of tone.
Your eyes.
Yeah, there you go.
That was from Gun 64, wasn't it?
That was from Gun Mario 64. Yeah.
That was from our good era.
That may be our
Good era.
longest
That was like
lasting.
a couple months ago.
That may have
really gone
been
downhill.
I mean, we peaked. That may have been that may be the longest lasting thing we take from Gun Mario 64.
Was there anything else from Gun Mario 64? Yeah, I don't think so.
Lumberjane.
Oh, because that was when Adrian was getting really into shifting.
Yeah.
We don't really talk about lumberjanes or shifting anymore, though.
We don't, but that
still
was
put
funny.
your eyes.
I
That
don't
was
want
pretty
to. I don't
good.
want to think about the existence of shifting. Please never bring that up.
Well, it's real, Saba. So
no,
let's
it's not. It's called your imagination.
It's super real.
It's
Stop, I don't know what to
super
tell
real.
you.
Listen.
I want to
Listen.
die. I want to. I want to be deleted.
I want to be deleted. Listen, Saba, in my next shift, I'll delete.
No, please.
In my next shift.
You can't.
I'll just shift into where Saba was deleted.
Yeah.
Not killed,
Unfortunately, I'm
not
still gonna
never
be here,
born,
though.
deleted.
Deleted.
Like System 32.
Where Saba was an AI.
And the AI.
Delete System 32.
I mean, what's
Do
the
it,
difference
you
between
won't.
that universe and this universe?
Where Saba's an
Not
AI.
here.
Yeah.
In this
Holy
universe,
shit.
she was. Oh my god. Her conscious was uploaded into a body.
Oh man.
Oh.
How'd you know?
Because no one cares that much about Persia.
Oh my
Only a
god.
robot.
Jesus.
Persia doesn't exist
I mean,
anymore.
Exactly my
technically
point.
that's true right now.
He
Zach,
must be a
though.
Terminator.
No, I mean, be careful though. I'm
It's a
saying
rat right
that's
now.
already, what you're saying is already technically true. No one does except for like me and like some people I know.
I think Persia's pretty cool. I especially like their innate ability to time travel.
That would be pretty nice.
That was probably like I'd be really afraid to, like, if we were actually popular, I'd be afraid to bring it back again. But that was one of my favorite jokes from like relatively early Game Grumps, which was they made up a race and then just made up a bunch of random shit about them.
Yeah.
I think like not only was it just fun in general, but I think like the evolution of that joke just being like just making up like the fact that in the Street Fighter universe, if you are born in Brazil, you have a natural inclination to lightning. Which I think is really funny.
You, but Zach, I think there's I mean, at least for Persia, there's a specific prince. I don't know. I think that does really well with time traveling.
Right, Jake Gyllenhaal.
To be fair, only 2 of the 3 Street Fighter Brazilian fighters have affinity for lightning.
What about Lara's like little brother or cousin? Doesn't he have like lightning stuff?
No, he doesn't. He has fire.
Does he have fire? Okay.
His whole thing is that he's a copycat of Ken, except he's not very good at it.
Oh, okay. I mean, the inherent point still stands, not like in terms of accuracy, but in terms of, I think it'd be really funny to just be like, man, I can't believe that Jews just willingly gave up their ability to backflip into a parallel dimension. They did that for our sake, and I really appreciate that.
They leveled the playing field.
They leveled the, because otherwise it would be unfair.
Yeah.
Man.
And where's Lawrence?
Where's that boy?
Oh, Grant, did I tell you about that time that I was trying to teach a kid in history about China?
No.
Wait, China's real?
So I was trying to help a kid learn about China because that was the history lesson they were doing. And the guy, like, this was like a black kid, and the guy was like, "Man, this is dumb. I want to learn about samurai and ninjas." And I was like, "That's Japan." And he's like, "That's the same thing, isn't it?" And I was like,
Oh my god. Nope.
I definitely said something like that when I was younger. I will admit. I will take that on the chin in defense of this.
I mean, there's a lot of people that still like group a bunch of like countries together that are not like major ones. So
I had to bite my tongue so I didn't smack him in the back of the head. But the history teacher who was also black was like, "That's a very American thought that we should really get rid of." He's like, "Man, it doesn't matter." He doubled down on it too, where he was like,
"Nobody cares."
Exactly.
I would say I would just call it an uneducated mind. Or
I mean,
like,
he's a child, but yeah.
Well, he was unwilling is the thing. He was unwilling to internalize that
that's the trouble.
places.
That's the troublesome part, really. I think. Because what was it? There was a video essay I was watching the other day where the guy was just going through like, man, it really sucks that a lot of like stuff from our like movies and TV from our childhood, if you watch them like with modern sensibilities, they're like not cool anymore. And I can't remember the name of it. I didn't actually watch the show, but I do remember seeing commercials for it. But the over-under was that it was supposed to be a like kids cartoon that took place in Asia, just like vague Asia, and it clearly was produced and directed by a guy who had an appreciation for like some of the aesthetic of a lot of Asian cultures, but not actually giving a shit about the specifics, because the generic Asian country that the show took place in was a combination of China, Japan, Cambodia, I think a little bit of Vietnam, but like Vietnam War Vietnam, like not actually culture, just like taking the
it's the only part I remember is Vietnam. You know,
when you were fighting.
But it was just a bunch of that stuff, and the guy in the video is like, yeah, it really sucks because I used to watch this when I was a kid, and I remember thinking it was super cool just having like this like Chinese cavalry going up against like the Japanese like samurai. It was like super cool until you realize that it was all just like nothing.
I mean, this is the risk that we run, Zach, of making up a new nationality.
But it's also like, how
true.
invested are you of like, it has to be like realistic versus like being like, well, obviously this is like not real life, even though like we based like some things off of real life. It's not.
I mean,
real
it
life.
was. I mean, in this particular context, it was literally just, what if I took these countries and just kind of blended them together? So, but I get what you say in terms of like, what if it was inspired by? To which I'll ask Grant about how he feels about early Ionia from League of Legends. Where Ionia,
it's Asia, the country.
Yeah, it's just, but it was clearly like Japan first, and then China second, and then like a bunch of other stuff third, because it was just like Ionia is literally like a tiny island nation that had like a bunch of Japanese influence, and then like after they did the world building stuff, they were like, we gotta add some like other shit to this, or else this is gonna look real bad for a while.
We gotta add the rest of Asia. Put it all in.
We gotta add more spiritual stuff. Oh my God, Lawrence, hello.
Oh, Lawrence. That is interesting that League of Legends did the exact same thing that D&D did, where they started with a very culturally insensitive analog to a real world place, and later on retroactive, like, we gotta add some more nuance to this real quick.
I think it's.
I think.
Sorry, please
I
continue.
want to real fast. I would just like, did it include like locations? Because I think when you start getting into like actual physical
No, but it was clearly
locations,
like super inspired by.
Okay.
You know what I mean? like Yasuo is literally just like a samurai. Zed is just a ninja.
Yeah.
Like the way that the government in Ionia was structured was based on feudal Japan at first. So it's just like, yeah, this is just Japan, but with like a little bit more magic.
I will say that
A little bit.
fun fact about the Forgotten Realms, D&D's flagship lore setting, their analog for Africa is called the Darklands.
Oh my God.
Even though
It's not
Africa
very
normally gets a
long.
lot more sun than everywhere else.
It's not a very lore developed place.
How long ago was that established?
Yes.
Fucking Gygax year, so very long, and they haven't done anything or touched it with a 10-foot pole, really.
Well, because that was something else. Once again, I've been watching a lot of video essays because I need something to fill my time, or else the silence will start getting to me. But like
From Doctor Who.
the silence. No. But but just the idea that for a really long time during the colonial era of like the real world, they just called Africa the Dark Continent because, like, on one hand, racism, and on the other hand, a bunch of like the cultural superpowers that like were trying to colonize Africa couldn't agree on what to call it. And so they were just like, you know what?
Racism
The
also.
Dark Continent. Despite what Saba said, being like, it's the continent that has the most sunshine
It
by
probably gets a
default.
lot of exposure of sun.
It has an enormous... It's very famous for the amount of sun that it has. But now we're going to call it the Dark Continent. I wonder why. Why is Lawrence called Mutiny MILF? When did that happen?
Fantastic name.
Are you?
Of several days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
When did that... Wait, what inspired you to change it to that?
How did
This is a project. We're working on a project that.
Right, but were you in this server when you guys were hanging out?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, well that makes sense.
Mutiny MILF's a weird name, Lawrence. I'm not gonna lie.
Mutant
MILF,
MILF.
on the other hand.
Oh,
Are you telling me you're looking at Mutiny MILF and someone could possibly think, oh, that's a normal name?
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
but I mean, it makes sense.
By the way,
if,
Lawrence.
Project MILF is
Oh,
happening.
Lawrence, you should. Have you seen the video in On Air?
on air.
no.
It's from. Do you know Disco Elysium, Lawrence?
I was telling
only
Lawrence
hear
about it
it.
the other day, in fact.
Yeah. So there's a bit of you calling your detective partner, whose last name is Kitsurage.
Please don't say
There's
it
a-
live on stream again.
There's a bit where you call him a color commonly associated with Asians racistly, and then you also call him on top of that someone who has sex with primates in shorter terms in the video, and it's amazing. Grant.
Mutual.
That's. Ooh, sorry about that, Kim.
No.
Sorry.
No.
Oh,
Please.
but I'm glad that's
All right, Saba, you have to join the club now, so you can pressure Zach into doing it.
I'm not
God.
gonna change my name.
Okay, I need to find a good word that starts with an M that's different than all of your guys's.
Ideally, one that starts with MU.
MUT.
Okay, I got one.
UTI.
I got one. Hold on. How do I forget how to change my nickname?
edit server profile.
Right-click your thing on the right side.
Go to your birth certificate and change the name there.
Yeah, go to the registrar at the your local county office.
No, that is not it. Hold on.
How much money does it cost to change the name in Milpitas? I don't know. How much money do you think it costs to change the name?
I don't know.
Yeah, you need your birth certificate and a Sharpie. It's a crafting recipe, actually.
I need to double check just in case. Don't worry.
I will
I'm
say
almost
that
there.
in Project Zomboid, they have the level of detail where you can write notes, but to do so, you do need a piece of paper and a writing implement, and the color of the text depends on the implement that you use.
Oh.
And you cannot erase it unless it's written in pencil multiple. Pretty fucking good. That's great. All right.
My
Well,
suggestion
that
was
is
gonna be
pretty good.
muted.
one of us. One of us.
Listen, we're already 16 minutes over the segment, but this is by far the best I've ever done in a monsoon run, so I am not going to be alt-tabbing just to facilitate this joke.
I'm glad, Lawrence, everyone's joined Project Milk. It's pretty good.
Project Mill.
Oh my god, is that the new project you guys are working on? Because I would definitely like to do that instead of As the Wind Blows. Can we
That's a
pivot As
parody.
the Wind Blows? Can we do a visual novel about milk?
Oh my god.
Project MILF is the hentai parody of Project Zomboid.
Oh my god.
How
There's a
detailed does
virus
it have
in-
to be?
There's a virus in there that turns people into MILFs.
Oh, you
no.
know, do you know
Finally.
what the name of the status is? Like the status effect that signifies that you've been infected, but it hasn't like gotten you yet?
What?
Milfed.
Oh yeah.
You've been milfed.
I was gonna say, because Project Zomboid has like, you know how the Sims have like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm sad, I'm whatever. Project Zomboid has like Moodles where it tells you how your guy is doing in the right side, where it's like, oh, your guy's tired or anxious or carrying too much.
I'm milfed.
And then when you die, it gives you one of two stat conditions. It either gives you deceased because you ran out of blood or took too many injuries, or zombified, where you are now a zombie, and it shows on the right side while it shows the game over text.
Damn.
It replaces all your other moves. Anyway.
Excellent.
So we've got M and 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 M.
And then an
And O
O.
and O and O.
I know mine is MLULT, but you know, close enough.
It's close enough. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Like the quality of the joke surpasses the rules.
My my suggestion was gonna be mute or muted.
No,
Oh, yeah.
God,
Muted
okay.
milk.
I can't.
It's like Punish Snake.
No, that may
punish-
trigger something to happen in real life, and I can't do that.
Like what?
That gives me flashbacks.
You.
Flashbacks.
Flashbacks to when Saba put duct tape over her mom's mouth and she was really mad.
Yeah. Yeah, those are bad memories.
It was pretty funny though.
I'm laughing about nothing. Hang on.
Hold on, I need to find something to laugh at.
No, I'm laughing
Visual
about.
stimuli.
I'm laughing about the fucking nothing that was four doubloons again.
Four
Shut up.
Four doubloons. I just remembered it because multiple. I thought of four, and then I thought of doubloons, and I was like, oh, four doubloons again. And then, I remember being like, hang on, I'm laughing. This is nothing. I'm gonna post nothing. And then Zach, your response like, yeah, that sure is nothing.
Four doubloons.
Hey, you're not wrong.
That's four doubloons though.
Hang on, I'm gonna be myself.
Four of them.
Hold on, I'm going to mute myself so he can cackle about nothing.
I'm just
four
thinking
doubloons.
about that meme of like the couple in bed. It's like, oh, he's probably thinking about
probably
other
thinking about
girls.
other girls.
And then his actual plot is like, I have
Four doubloons.
Four doubloons. How many? Four.
Good kind of thinking.
That's the kind of thing.
Excuse me, Imp Overlord, do you mind? Thank you. Oh, he's not dead. Now he is. Okay, let's take one of
You
these.
killed me, but I actually disappeared and teleported. Now I'm gonna get.
Alright, dude. I looked at his thing and got fucking walloped by a beetle.
For the blue.
Wait a minute, guys.
Look at his fucked up hand.
Hold on, hold on. Now,
His hand is
I wonder
so
if you guys
fucked.
can. Hopefully, I'm doing this correctly. I don't know if I spelled it correctly.
Oh, dude. What?
You know what's happening? Huh?
Oh,
Who's gonna be second? Huh?
Wait, I forgot how you spelled it.
I don't even know if I spelled it correctly.
Doubloon.
Okay, who's gonna be number 3?
I'm glad that you guys are having fun while I finish this.
We gotta
Me?
entertain ourselves.
Oh, it hurts.
Hey man.
Oh, Lawrence.
Lawrence, you have to do.
oh, you
We have to spell it
spelled
out.
the whole thing. All right.
How long?
And then
Doubloon.
Because I
Adrian
think I know
will
who
be
wants
for
to be
doubloon.
more.
For the blue.
For the blue.
Whoa, what the fuck? I spawned in and
glad
there was
we
an invoke
understood
just
you.
throwing shit at
Alright,
me.
Zach, we don't need your cooperation on this bit. It's completed. With that.
Complete.
What if I
Yeah.
ruined it
Yeah.
with 5 doubloons?
Oh,
Many doubloons.
That-
That's too
We're just one
many.
richer anyway.
That's one too many.
Now we don't want to get greedy.
no, hang on, don't worry. It has a lot. Don't get greedy. Anyway, it's covered. We got it. It's fine.
Oh, 5 doubloons.
5 exists.
A magical fifth.
Finally.
5 doubloon.
Can I in a similar vein to Adrian earlier being like, man, I can't fucking believe that eyes became like a reoccurring joke on stream. I know that we still do like the hello Mario and stuff like that when it comes up, but I have found myself unironically, like outside of stream conversations, just like whenever someone, long story short, I find myself under my breath going, don't get greedy.
Don't get greedy.
Don't get greedy.
Because that comes from, I don't know if Adrian got it from anywhere else, but that comes from an extremely minuscule and insignificant conversation about Pokemon Legends Arceus. And it blows my mind that for whatever reason, it's so brainwormy that I still think about it.
Don't get greedy though.
I mean,
get
that's the only
greedy.
part that I got. Don't get greedy.
Like, it's good, and I don't understand why it's good compared to like everything else that was in that conversation, which mostly just sounded like whining.
Don't get greedy.
Listen. I know you paid $60 for this game, but at least it runs, so don't get greedy.
Imagine Super Mario, like, or Mario Luigi Super Mario Saga. Imagine,
Why'd
we're
you
showing
say
the
it
logo.
like that?
Because I slur my words.
You said it like it was like water dribbling out of your mouth.
I slur my words when I get excited.
Anyway, please continue.
Poured the balloons on some drinks, haven't you?
Imagine Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, right? And
I'm
every
dead!
time where it shows the logo where it's like Nintendo, it's like it's the two of them like saying that or whatever. Imagine Nintendo, don't get greedy.
Don't get greedy.
Like it cuts it off and it's me and also like don't get greedy.
Just like a live feed of.
Nintendo.
All right.
Yeah, it cuts to a.
We'll be back in a moment for
cam.
Revengeance.